No! No!
A body has been discovered! After a certain amount of time has passed, the class trial will commence!
It happened again. What are you?
I guess starting off with the Monokuma file is the right approach. Let's see. Huh? This is... Jama's body was found around 8 AM. His body was found by Justine, JJ, and Jadiego in that order. Jama died around 6:40 AM. Cause of death was blunt force trauma on the back of his head. That's all it says. Despite how the case looks, the Monokuma file doesn't hide who died at all. I wonder if that means something.
Here we go then. Alright.
On to the next. More precisely, this rope. Other than the fact it's even here, there are more strange things about it. For one, it's an Ethernet cable. It's very long, probably around 30 meters, and looks like every single centimeter has been used here, as most of it is placed underneath that hole in the ceiling. Other than that, the only thing that's noticeable here is the blanket on the floor. It used to be on the backrest of the couch, so why is it here? Following this cable, you'd arrive back at the murder scene. More precisely, Jama's wig.
What the?
That pebble. It fell out as soon as I touched the wig. Seems like Jama's wig is stuffed with rocks, and the Ethernet cable is used to lock them all in. If both of them were killed due to blunt force trauma, was this the murder weapon? And looking down at where the pebble fell, I can see that stuff has been knocked over. Even so, there are clearly pieces that are missing from this table. Looks like they've been moved, but why? This, alongside the placement of the wig and the blanket from earlier, makes it seem like there has been a struggle. But other than those spots, everything else looks about the same. The struggle must have ended very quickly. Damn, there was some delay on that one.
Justine, how's it going over there? To be fair, I haven't been thinking at all. Yeah, I figured. Can I take a look now?
Looking up close, I can see some minor differences. Comparing it to Jama's scarf isn't as tight as his, having been loosely tied. This could have happened in whatever struggle occurred, but there's more amiss. Jama's sailor hat doesn't have the same logo Justice has. If Jama put this on himself, I really doubt someone like him would leave out these details on accident. Other than this stuff, Chris Kuma's file seems to be fairly accurate. At least the Chris Kuma file lines up with the body. Most of Jama's blood loss happened behind him. His back is soaked in blood.
Oh right, I didn't even notice.
There's also a little bit of blood drips on his forehead. Just is... yeah. What? Wait, why is... what am I looking at? We don't have time for that right now. Listen, we need to investigate this. Now. JJ, you go on ahead. I'll stay with him for a little bit. Fine. Both of you, don't take too long. I think it's safe to move on to the next. Though I should probably ask him about it first. You've been looking here this entire time, right? What have you found? I just wonder why he's even on the door to begin with. It seems strange. Anyway, the side of his head right here is completely covered in blood. Something else, his limbs on this side of the door have been taped to it. I'm assuming to keep him from falling from the door, but something else I found. This part of the wall on top here. There are blood splatters on it.
There is?
I have the feeling that he may have been killed on the door. The last thing I found was the bottom of the curtain. It's covered in blood. So there must have been a reason why the curtain wasn't closed and the blood was able to get on the wall. Of course, you can all fact check it if you don't believe me. I was planning to take a look outside now. I already looked in the kitchen. There isn't really anything noteworthy here. Again, you can check if you don't trust me, but I'm now going to take a look outside, see if the COVID maybe threw anything away. I can see that. I'll tell everyone once I found more. He told me a lot, and I can already see from here that the kitchen hasn't changed. I guess I can simply fact check the rest. Sure enough, Jamillion's limbs are really taped to the other side of the door. I wonder why it was so important to keep him up here. Now that I'm at it, I may as well look at this Chris Kuma file. Jamillion's body was found around 8 AM. His body was found by JJ, Justine, and Jadiego in that order. Jamillion died around 6:40 AM. Cause of that was blunt force trauma on the left side of his head. His face is indeed covered in blood on his left side, so Jadiego's words align with the file. Huh? I didn't notice this before, but there are small pink dots on Jamillion's shirt. They are barely noticeable, but I doubt it is anything other than blood. Is it his? JayDiego's investigating the garden. I guess I'll go upstairs for now. I'm curious about the hole in the ceiling. The hole that Justine and me noticed on our way down. This hole aligns right next to the couch, where most of the Ethernet cable lies. But yesterday, that hole wasn't there at all. Did someone create this hole in one night?
JJ? Look at this. Doesn't it look kinda, pink-like? Now that you say that, Whoa! Is that a hole in my floor? You don't know about this? No, seriously, I didn't know. It's in your room. I mean, they used to have a little carpet above right there. It was always there, ever since I got this room. Just, I want to be neutral about this, but look, there it is. It's been thrown off, I think.
Our rooms are for the most part identical. Is Just telling the truth here?
JJ, look up there. There's another hole. And it's right above the one in my floor. Do you know whose room is above yours? Let's take a look. Come. Right. Oh, right. I never really paid attention, but I guess it's Jama's room.
I'm already ahead of you slowpokes. So you want to check out Jama's room? I'll allow you to.
Okay.
Bye now.
Alright, and I guess this was on it. Well, it was, yeah. Now that I think about it, you left this book in your room. Is it still there? Oh, yeah, he never asked for it again, so it's still in my room. Which we were talking about with JayDiego before you two left. Happened to me as well. Yeah, so it's about those items that were in our new rooms for one night. I guess the book that was in my room that day was Jama's. Really? So do you know about the fourth one, the Knockout Haven? I do. So you actually have read it. Do you know what those terms meant? Well, they were murder plans. Case plans. Believe me, I was shocked too. But Jama told me that the only reason he wrote them down was to get them off of his mind. He even really pushed me to name one. I don't know why. I just said a name and I just kinda went along with it. So he gave his kill plans code names. Just, I have one more question. I want you to tell me what happened. I'm assuming last night or maybe even early morning. Well, I don't really remember too well, but somewhere around early morning or even midnight, Jama came to my room. He wanted to go down with me to the living room to just, talk with me. He said he wanted to fix things. So we went down, we talked for a bit, And Jama seemed oddly... It was a nice talk. I've always known that about Jama, that he rarely ever lies. The last thing I do remember is wanting to go back to my room after the talk was done, and then at least everything went white. Okay. I missed it all. All that really happened. Just give me some more time. I'll try to remember more as time goes on.
There wasn't a ton of stuff to be found in Jama's room, but I have heard an interesting point of view. This case is certainly something.
Alright, so what did you find? I found almost nothing. There wasn't a whole lot going on in the backyard. But I did find one thing that was noteworthy. I found tissues in the container, covered in pink. That's all. No other evidence, just that. I checked myself and he's telling the truth.
Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. And cut! And scene. It's time to move on to the next stage. The class trial is about to begin. Everyone, meet up in the attic.
Already? Yes. Tell us during the trial. I will. Josh, what are you?
Just like last time, we all went to the attic. Only this time, nobody had anything to say. It wasn't like last time when Jamillion came up to me. We lost 2 lives today, and although I could have stand to both of them, they didn't deserve to die. One of us took their lives early. He is still among the living. That won't do. We need to get rid of this traitor.
What's up? Kinda crazy how we're already down to half. Man, it feels like yesterday when everyone was out there having a good time and some good laughs.
You say that, but everything happened in about a week's time.
Oh, shut up with your technicalities.
Okay.
Now then, since JJ does have a point, I'm sure you guys remember how the class trial works. That makes it way easier for me. So let's get this second trial on the road.
So, no mention of the new space. I see. Well, before we start, let's make one thing clear. One thing clear? I want everyone to clear their minds of any suspicion. Starting off the trial with a clear blanket in mind will lead to mistakes. Let's make sure not to make any more. I think that's fine, right guys? Starting off, fine. Whatever you say. Good. Now, this case is a complicated one. It may even be a bit intimidating to start on, but I don't want anyone to fall behind. Clear your mind and let's assess this correctly. JayDiego is strangely assertive. I mean, he always had a knack for it and I have seen it before, even here. Okay, JayDiego, then I'd advise we start with the Ethernet cable. The cable is placed in the figurative center of the case. I agree. A cable that long just sitting around? Sounds like bad news. And so it begins again. Another trial. Another murder to figure out. You know, I almost tripped over that cable. That's not really important, Joss. Though I might have too. JJ, do you know how long that cable was? I got it! It should be about 30 meters in length. Right. Well, even on first glance you can clearly see it's really long. What would the use of that be? The cable was stuck to that wig, and because the wig was filled with rocks, it might have been used as a projectile. Ah, if that's the case, the blacker probably used the cable to swing the wig around. It's all wrong! Justine, I don't believe the blacker used it like that. Wait, but isn't that the most likely way to use it? It may be the most simple, yes, but the state of the Ethernet cable is a clear indicator why it wasn't used like that. Huh? To simplify it, every centimeter has clearly been used. The Ethernet cable is fully rolled out, laid around most of the living room floor. Swinging it around like you suggested would mean a good portion of the cable should still be rolled up, but that clearly wasn't the case. I see. Yeah, that totally makes sense. The Ethernet cable wouldn't even be needed for your idea. Yeah, that's my bad. Don't worry about it. We're all trying to figure this out here. Wow, that was resolved quickly. That feels refreshing. By the way, Joss, you referred to the wig being stuck to the Ethernet cable in the past tense just now. The cable was stuck to that wig, and because the wig was filled with rocks, it might have been used as a projectile. Is there a reason for that? Ah, right. I removed it and put it back on Jama's head. I wanted to honor him, you know? Very well. Before we fully move on to that wig, let's talk about the Ethernet cable more. For example, the length was clearly needed, but for what? That is the one question right now. Even so, I might have an idea. It is C. I bet it was used to build up some form of momentum. Momentum? Momentum? Monumentum? Yes! Wait, what was that last one? Momentum? Every centimeter was used, which indicates the blacker needed the 30 meters to build momentum for that wig. Wait, you just said it wasn't used to swing around. I know. Haven't any of you noticed it yet? What? Oh, just look at the cable again and it becomes clear. Hey! You don't get to do that, JJ! Stay in your MC role! What was that all about? Doesn't matter. I have noticed it and I'm starting to understand what you're saying, JJ. Most of the cable is positioned underneath that hole in the ceiling. What if those 30 meters were used to pull the wig down with someone underneath it? Huh? Oh. That would explain the usage of the Ethernet cable. It's a mystery to me. It's plausible, that's for sure. Then why did you interrupt me? Because it's also contradictory.
Most of the cables underneath that hole. That is correct. But the wig isn't near the hole at all. I feel like that aspect should be more important. I don't know why it's placed there either. But it probably happened after it fell down. I don't believe that was the culprit's plan. One floor of momentum isn't enough to take someone. Dissect the problems. Right, we didn't get any time to reveal this, but there's a second hole above the one we know. A second hole? Wait, what? Right, it's in Jama's room. Jama's room is apparently above mine, and the holes even align. I'm very certain they align. Maybe one floor of momentum isn't enough, but 2 floors certainly is. Okay, that might be true. And although it answers that, what about the placement of the wig? Based on where it is, swinging the cable around does seem more plausible. You might think that, but you're wrong. He is, JJ? Definitely. Together. The knocked over table should be enough proof. The table? Oh, I see what you mean. You do? The cable shows the wig's path. It travels from underneath the hole, over the table to where the wig is currently. Swinging it around wouldn't have left the trail like that. Ah, right. And if it was swung around, building up momentum would have been a huge swing. It would have flown over the couch, passing the TV too, because otherwise it wouldn't have made it near the window. But all of that is far too dangerous, right? That's right. One of the rules is that you aren't allowed to break anything in the house unless you get Chris Kuma's approval. That would have been unnecessarily linked. That does make sense. And with the added floor, that idea doesn't seem so far-fetched. Then, the wig with rocks was pulled down through the holes to hit someone in the head? It aligns with both of their causes of death, right? Blunt force trauma? Only with Jama's probably. Why? Because his is on the back of his head. Jamillion's wound is on the left side of his head. If the culprit waited for one of them to get under the hole, Jama's wound is more likely. This is so confusing! Calm down, Justine. We have still more to talk about. I know, but both of their Kuma files stated they died around the same time. If Jama is supposed to be the only one who got hit with that, what happened to Jamillion? I guess that depends on how precise those time frames are.
What? Why are you all looking at me?
Cough it up, Bear.
I'm not saying shit!
That means there's stuff to say.
Uh-oh.
You may as well just answer me. How precise is the given time frame?
This is so not fair. But fine. The Chris Kuma file states around 6:40 a.m. So there could have been 5 or 2 minutes between their deaths.
Wait, really? Why didn't you just put that in the file?
Oh, shut up! I've told you a secret, so now expect to spectating for me.
That still isn't very long, but at least that means they could have died to different things. Oh! Then I might know how Jamillion died. Wait, for real? Yep. I think I know what he's referring to. Alright, Joss, I'll help you. Have you perhaps found something upstairs? Yes, I did. After I managed to get myself up on my feet, I went upstairs and met up with JJ. It's coming together. That is true. I was with Joss throughout the entire thing. Once I did that, I found something on my bed. A wooden staff. Why didn't you bring it up earlier? It's coming together. There wasn't a chance to, since we were all debating the other part of the case. That's true. But Joss, why do you think that stuff could be what done Jamillion in? I think this because the knob of the staff was slightly pink, meaning it was involved in this case. Slightly pink? What if it's just a part of the design? It's coming together. I doubt that that's the case, since we have evidence something bloody has been wiped off. The staff is the only item with any such marks on it. Wiping off the blood wouldn't remove everything, especially not with wood, which can absorb it enough for it to still be visible. That's true, yeah. So you're saying Jamillion was killed by that staff, right? Thanks for agreeing with us. I don't see what else it could have been. Perhaps Jamillion was simply caught in the crossfire, killed for being a witness. Sorry, Joss, but I don't believe that. Huh? What exactly don't you believe? Well, I think the story is fine. If the staff was really in that state, it's hard to write it off as a coincidence. I just don't believe Jamillion was caught in the crossfire. You sure about this? Jama's wound is on the top of his head, which means he's most likely the victim of the setup trap. Doesn't Jamillion's death feel too uninvolved to not be a rushed kill? On the contrary. On the contrary? I think Jamillion is very much involved in all of this. What? Oh? That's intriguing. Why do you think that? Try to keep up. We all know how Jamillion's body was placed, on the top of the door. It is already a strange spot for a dead body, but I doubt it was placed on there by the culprit. Oh? Why do you think that? It is simple. The blood placement around Jamillion indicates as much. You've gone far with that. Right, it's definitely strange placement for blood. What are you two talking about? So you understand my point. If Jamillion was caught in the crossfire, his blood would have been all over the place. But it wasn't. Jamillion's blood was above the door to the backyard. Blood having been splattered on that level indicates Jamillion was killed on that level too. But wait, so what you're saying is, he was killed on the door? Exactly. On the door? You gotta be kidding. I doubt the culprit could force Jamillion on the door, and threatening him seems even less likely. Right, in Jamillion's case, threatening him with his own life wouldn't be enough. Then, if I'm getting this right, Jamillion himself climbed on the door. Yes. But why would he do that? That I do not know. We got to the point where Jamillion was killed on the door. I get that the only possible explanation is him working together with the culprit. But then what was the plan? Why would he willingly climb on the door? You know, maybe Jamillion wasn't killed on the door. Huh? What if he was simply near the back door? There are still ways for his blood to only shoot upwards. Sorry to interrupt, but I have a theory. Huh? What if Jamillion set up his own death? What? He went on the door to die.
No, that's wrong! What the fuck? Did we really just say the same thing at the same time? That caught me off guard, but... Hold on, that threw me off my game. Then I'll start. Let's cut to the chase. I still stand by my point, but I can't see Jamillion setting himself up for me. There must be another reason why he went up. But I think it's more likely he got betrayed. Then I'd really like to know why he'd be on the door. Alright, got it. If they work together, he'd have something to do with Jama's case too, right? What if he was on that door to pull down the... Dissect the problems. Hold up, Justine. Could you elaborate on that? Huh? Okay. Jamillion may have been on the door with the Ethernet cable while the culprit lured Jama down. After Jama was killed, Jamillion was betrayed while still on the door. I see what you mean, but I doubt that's true. Take a good look at Jamillion's shirt. Oh? Wait, there are stains on it. Exactly. His wound is placed on the left side of his head, so I really doubt that blood is his own. Not to mention how little the amount is. So, that's Jama's blood. I see. He couldn't have already been on the door, since Jama's blood wouldn't have gotten on him. He needed to be near Jama while he died. Okay, but that only solidifies Jamillion was involved in the Jama case. It doesn't prove he went on the door to let himself be killed. Maybe not, but there's more to this. Really? Yes, there is, Justine. An indisputable piece that proves my words. It's coming together. Jamillion's limbs being stuck to the door proves it. His limbs? Yes, just think about it. If Jamillion was hit in the head by the wooden staff, what do you think would happen to his body? Oh, of course. He'd totally fall right off the door. Then, it's likely that tape was intended to keep him on there. Right. But that would mean he was still alive when his limbs got taped to the door. If he was betrayed or forced on that door, I doubt anyone would be strong enough to not only keep him on there, but also tape his limbs. That's true. No matter how you look at it, Jamillion would have the complete advantage there. Right. So he willingly let his limbs get taped to the door? And that is because he was planning to die. Damn. It makes sense. But is that really something he'd do? Jamillion made it pretty clear what he wanted. He wanted to see us outperform our ultimates. He must have been doing exactly that when he decided to die. All in all, we should write it off as he wouldn't do it before we discover why. Right. By the way, we've been saying for a while now that Jamillion helped the culprit. Right. It seems the most likely scenario. I've been thinking about that. If he'd help anyone out of the four of us, wouldn't the most likely one be Justine? What? Just, are you? Wait, you're saying it's me? Hold on, that's not what I meant. I'm just saying, wouldn't Justine be the first one he'd help based on how he had been acting? Really? Because he hung around me these past couple of days, you suspect me of murder? Again, I wasn't saying that. Just makes a good point, but I didn't expect him to accuse anyone. Seems like Higeki didn't expect that either. Anyway, if Jamillion would help anyone, it would be Justine. Is it that simple though? Then what were you saying? I'm not trying to accuse you. I'm just saying he'd be most likely to help you. Just think about it. He clearly liked something about Justine. Otherwise he wouldn't be hanging around him like that. If, for example, Justine came up with the plan, it would make sense for Jamillion to help him. See? You are accusing me. You're forgetting the fact I wasn't all chummy with him. Again, There is a problem with that though. If we assume Jamillion worked with Justine to set everything up,
The main murder weapon couldn't have been Jama's wig. You'll come far with that. Right. How would either one of them get their hands on Jama's wig? They wouldn't. If Jama wasn't wearing the wig, it would have been in his room. Unless they had access to his room, you can forget about that. Right. I didn't even think about that. Then can we finally look at the obvious frame? Is it alright, JayDiego? I know you said earlier to get rid of your suspicion of anyone and focus on the puzzle. But we have been doing that and not a lot has changed. Fine. Go ahead. Right. I get why you did it though. It was very smart. But nothing has changed. Just you are still our top suspect. Wait, I am? Is that true? Huh? Just, it's already suspicious enough you were at the scene of the crime, knocked out or not. But all we have found out thus far is how everything still points to you. One of the holes is in Jama's room, and you said earlier it aligned with the one in your room. So the hole we saw in the living room is in your floor. That's true, but... You also said that wooden staff was placed on your bed. And lastly, both of the body discovery announcements played when we discovered the bodies. In the rule tab, it states that if 3 or more people find the body, the announcement rings. This excluded the culprit, obviously. If we didn't need you for the announcement to ring, that can only mean one thing. It's you, Just. You have to be kidding. You have to be. I'm sorry, Just. Why would I kill anyone? You think I'd take lives just to escape? Come on. Anyone? Hey, Just. Yes. If it isn't true, speak up. Huh? JayDiego. No one is on your side currently. You are on your own. It doesn't mean that we don't want to believe you. It means that you have possibly betrayed our trust. It means that how it stands now, you are the most likely person to be left behind. Why are you saying all of this, JayDiego? If you didn't realize that himself, you should have stayed quiet. It's so cruel. It's cold. It reminds me of the night I lost my parents. I was crying a lot. But my brother told me something. He said, they lived life to the fullest and died doing what they loved. Their love will drift along the waves and make sure we get to see the same sights they did. They are one with the ocean now, and they'll protect us for as long as we live. Just... I won't let the innocent here die. I'll prove to you guys I haven't betrayed you. You say that, but I'm fine with being suspected, but we still haven't gotten a good grasp on this case. For example, how would anyone get their hands on Jama's wig? That is tricky. Even so, if anyone would be able to do it, it'd be you. I can't argue with that, but I think the answer is way simpler. And what are you getting at? What if the wig wasn't taken by anyone? What if it was Jama who used it? Okay, Just, I got you. Oh, wait a minute. Just remember that book? Huh? You mean Jama's book? Hold on. What's all this talk about at Jama's book? Remember when Grisukuma forgot to move certain objects when he switched our rooms?
Hey! I didn't like the tone very much, mister!
Shut up.
Fine, I didn't want to talk anyway.
Good, keep it that way. Could you stop beefing with the bear? Right. Back then, in my room, I found a book with weird terms in them. Just knew about it too. Probably having been exposed to it by Jama. Ho? Just, was that book you used to keep Jama away from JJ? It was, yes. Jama cared a lot for what he had written in it. And what had he written in it? Murder plans. What did you say? Murder plans? Of course he'd do something like that. The plans weren't actually written out though. He used nicknames to memorize them. Yeah, but there's more to it than that. This case used 2 different floors for the murder weapon to travel down. The weapon went down. It dropped down. Just, do you get what I'm saying? Oh? Oh, wait, I think I do. Oh, come on, out with it. What did you find? There was one name in the book that seems to resemble this plan. This is the answer. Tell him, Joss. The drop-down knocker. What? That name. It may sound like a theory, but if you think about the spots where the holes are and the items that were used, it slowly becomes a more factual statement. So, hold up. This case, it definitely was. It can only be you. This convoluted plan was set up by Jama himself. Well, obviously. After all of that. I didn't even think about that book. That is... Jama started this? Keeping this in mind, a lot of mysteries get cleared up. Why was Jama's wig used? How did the culprit get it in the first place? Why was Jama in just his attire? Jama had a plan, but it failed. But hold on! We've been saying Jama was the one that got killed by that wig. How was he killed if it was his plan? Well, maybe he didn't. Huh? Maybe no one got killed by the contraption. But wait, are you saying Jama was killed by the wooden staff too? So Jama tried to kill someone, but he got killed instead. Then I'm assuming Jama tried to kill the culprit. Why the culprit? It makes the most sense. Jama may have lured the culprit downstairs by acting like Joss. Jama wasn't stupid. He'd know full well no one would follow him downstairs. So playing as the most trustable guy around would be his best option. And how much time Jama spent with Joss, it makes it believable he'd know how to play him. You think I'm the most trustable guy around? Back then, yes. Right now, not really. Anyway, I'm going to introduce something new in this debate. The chance that both kills weren't performed by the culprit. Oh, you think Jamillion killed Jama? Diego, let's hear what you gotta say. Yeah, I want to hear this too. If we can all agree that this contraption was created by Jama, it makes what I'm trying to say easy. It's coming together! Based on all the mysteries that got answered at once, I think it's pretty safe to say Jama was the first to strike. Based on the motive itself, it already makes sense. If the culprit were his target, the blood on Jamillion's shirt would make sense. He struck Jama from behind. Wouldn't there have been a lot more blood on him if he did? It's coming together! Don't forget, Jama was wearing a sailor's hat. Since he was hit around the back of his head, most of the blood would have been caught by it. Of course, there still would have been a small amount that came out, which is visible on his shirt. That makes it sound like he saved the culprit. Is that really something he'd do? Doesn't it feel like two different cases happened at the same time? Perhaps Jamillion's side was planning something at the same time as Jama. It's coming together! Jama already had his weapon, which was his wig. That's why he probably wasn't the one that brought the wooden staff. With that in mind, it's way more likely Jamillion brought it along. The reason he brought it along, he was planning to murder too. So, Jamillion may have used Jama's plan to sneak up on them and kill him. Did he somehow convince the culprit to work along with him after? Good on you for agreeing with us. That would indeed be the most likely scenario. Wait, would it though? What? I mean, yes, I do believe Jama was killed by Jamillion. But was it really him that followed the two down to assassinate Jama? Well, if you're trying to say Jamillion was the target, why would Jama's plan even fail? I don't know, it just feels strange. For example, why would the wig be near the window if that was all it was? Huh? Oh? Wait, that... Let me stop you right there. What? Wait, why? Why would we stop here? We are falling back to an old topic. We discovered that Jamillion killed Jama. So before we try to figure out who was in which position, let's first try and discover why the culprit ended up working with Jamillion. Right, my apologies. That's true. It's not like there's a time limit. Do you want one? Don't you dare! I've never been this disrespected before. Just, can I ask you something? Okay. What did you see in Jama? What? JJ, is that really important right now? What did you see in Jama, Just? Be honest. Well, I'm not sure myself. There wasn't much to like about him, you know? I wouldn't say that's true. He was enthusiastic, determined about everything he did, and funny, sometimes. Have you guys wondered about how he'd be if we weren't in the killing game? Same can be asked for Jamillion, right? It was the killing game that broke them. Pulled a demon out of them that would have never existed otherwise. But the point is, it did happen. So why did you spend time with this version of him? You want the real answer, right? A less vague one? I just realized it myself. I wanted to help him. To heal him from what the killing game had turned him into. I even dared to say that without me, he'd be more crazy than what he was. Wow. I see. Thank you, Just. That's all I needed to hear. Why did you want to hear that though? It's critical for our next step. I want you to tell everyone what you told me about what happened around midnight. Huh? Around midnight? I see. Okay, I will. My memories are still a bit hazy, so bear with me. Around midnight, Jama knocked on my door. He was in his usual attire. He wanted to talk to me about what had happened earlier that day, when I used his book against him. I followed him downstairs, into the living room where we sat down together. Now, what were we talking about again? I remember him apologizing for screaming at me, but not for what he had said. If anything, he kind of repeated the same message in a calmer way. After the conversation, I think I stood up to head back until everything went black. That's a lot of information. I don't even feel like repeating the same phrase. I knew it, so it was around that time. You'll come far with that. Seems like you realized something, JayDiego. Because the both of us were still up at the time, right? So that's what you were doing. I remember you being hard to read. Why do you only remember the bad things about me? Me and JJ had a conversation in this room. After that was done, I went back down to mine. While I didn't walk into anyone, I did see that Joss's room was still open. What? So I did leave it open. That clears up a lot, doesn't it? I know you two were suspicious of the weapon's placement, but if Joss's room was open the entire night, anyone could have went in there. You're seriously careless, Joss. Oops. JayDiego, did you do anything else after? Yes. I looked into his room to check, but saw nothing. Nothing. What's happening? JayDiego found nothing. What is the most important takeaway from that statement? The answer, B. That means you didn't see the hole, right? Right. Wait, how can you miss something like that? Justine, you haven't been in Just's room to investigate. Let me paint the picture for you. It's coming together. A mat in Just's room was tossed to the side. That was probably used to cover the hole. There was? Yes, there was. But when I looked in his room, it wasn't tossed aside. But when we walked in, it was. Wait, aren't our rooms supposed to be identical? Yes, they should be. It's possible Jama used a specific mat to hide the hole. Okay, can we drop this now? Huh? Even now, nothing has changed. Just is most likely involved in this. Oh, speak up! Calm down, Justine. Make the point you want to make first. Tell me how Jama would be able to create a hole that size in Just's room. That. He must have gone to work the day our rooms changed for a second time. Creating a hole in his own room is fine. He could have worked on it in the mornings and evenings without us realizing. The rooms are soundproof after all. But what about Just's room? The morning wouldn't work, since Just would still be there. Nighttime is the same story. It would have happened during the day. But was he ever gone for a long enough time for that? And if he was, how did he even get in Just's room in the first place? All of that is valid. Guys, please, let's not jump to conclusions here. This is the only conclusion. Did you ever leave Jama in your room unattended? Well, no, but then they worked together. I didn't even bring up the fact Just would have seen Jama's hole from his ceiling. Something definitely isn't adding up. If they were working together, why would Jama be dressed as him? What happened? Why does this seem so strange? Why was creating a hole allowed in the first place? Allowed. Wait. Chris Kuma, you did something, didn't you?
Huh?
JJ? that look. JJ, are you okay? What did you do, Chris Kuma?
Ho, ho! What are these accusations suddenly? I'm not a part of this build, boy.
Rule number 3. Destruction of property is prohibited unless you can convince Chris Kuma it's worth it. Oh? Wait. That is... Now cough it up, Bear. What did you do?
Promise me you won't get angry first.
What are we, your parents? Stop prolonging it.
Fine. I allowed someone to create a hole. You got that? Nothing more.
That is plenty. He allowed someone to create a hole. Let's keep that sentence in mind for now. Still, that's... You still aren't convinced, right? You are? No, I'm not either. But something I can do for you is postpone your suspicious thoughts. Come at me, Justine. Steal your argument. Fine. Here I am. Here we go. I still stand by what I said. Jama would have no time to create the hole in Just's That, along with the fact Just could have seen Jama's hole. They must have been working together. It's entirely possible Jama created the hole, but didn't fully finish it, only breaking the remainder of it when he started his plan. I guess that's true, but hasn't most of this case's answers been really simple? Why was Jamillion on the door? He went on there himself to die. How was Jama's wig obtained? It was actually Jama who orchestrated everything. Just even knew about the drop-down knocker. They worked together. Dissect the problems. If they work together like you're claiming, why was Jama in a sailor outfit? Why does that matter? Because to me it seems Jama was trying to do something else. That, along with the fact Just was knocked out by Jama. Just's door being open the entire night gives his story some form of credibility. What if he was betrayed by Jama that night? He just used it for the plan. There's something else, Justine. This should be the last thing me and Just discovered upstairs. Kuma, you should have really given us enough time to tell each other these things.
But this is funnier.
Here I go. It's coming together. There was a tossed-aside blanket next to Jama's hole. And differently from Just's room, Jama's room was completely closed. Kuma was the reason we could walk in.
A blanket next to the hole?
Ever since the second room shake-up, I did notice that blanket on the ground. Jama told me he liked to sit on the ground and chat. But in reality, he was hiding that hole from the only person he let into his room. Just, I understand. There's evidence against Just, but also in favor of him. Do you think both of them are laughing at us now for creating such a stupid case? Probably. Do you think the reason we are so confused is because we have yet to figure out Jama's plan? Jama's plan? What do you mean? We know his plan already. No, we don't. We know what he tried to do, but not what he was planning. That's our next topic then. If we can all agree that Just's story is credible enough, and Jama made both the holes, I think that's fine. If Jama hid his hole away from Just, then I doubt they worked together, at least. Very well. All the things we know thus far, there's no doubt about it. Jama was trying to frame Just. That makes sense. But why was he dressed like him? Let me answer that. Based on Just's story, he wasn't yet wearing that attire when they met up. We deduced before that he used our trust in Just to lure his target down. Does that mean he would have taken it off right after? With how little time there was between their deaths and when we discovered them, it would have been way too risky. Then what was he planning? Acting as Just for an entire class trial sounds exhausting. You'll come far with that. It would have been exhausted for anyone else that isn't named Jama Batoya. Wait, I was exaggerating there. I'm intrigued to hear this. What makes you believe Jama was planning to impersonate us while he was still alive? While I don't have actual proof for this theory, I do have something else. The untouched couch. The couch? Really? Yes, really. The couch looked completely untouched, like nobody used it since yesterday. However, just the story tells us both of them were seated on it. The pillows on the couch aren't firm enough to not leave evidence of that behind. Wait, what is it you're saying exactly? Jama tidied up the couch, removing all evidence of him sitting there with someone else. For a plan like that to work, he needed us to be in the dark. And if he was convincing enough to lure his target downstairs, he probably played one hell of a Joss. I have noticed the pattern of the couch having been tidied up whenever we went down for the morning. Was it your doing, Griskuma?
Yup! You're real jackasses, you know? Letting a plushie do all the work? Shame on you!
Anyway, so Jama tried replicating it like no one was downstairs alongside Joss, right? So, Jama was planning to act as me all throughout the investigation and trial. Ah, I got it. That's why there are differences in attires. Huh? If he was trying to frame Joss, he used the similar attires to throw him off as a game. But with those small differences, he'd figured we'd be smart enough to notice who was the real Joss. We'd all mistakenly vote for him in that reality. Remember Jama's words to Joss, JJ?
You're weak, Joss. You have the right tools. You have the right personality. But you're a pushover. A complete pushover.
Yeah, I do. He planned to pin Joss in a corner where he'd be too weak to fight out of. Is that correct? If his plan was trying to frame me, that proves it wasn't me, right? How so? You could have woken up sooner than what he had expected. In that case, Jamillion would be his target, and you'd be the one who distracted Jama for Jamillion to strike. That is a possibility. Wearing Joss's outfit, all of us would be off our game. He'd pin it all on Joss and use the small differences in his clothes to point us to his own victory. Is that really right? And how about the Griskuma announcement? Did we forget about that? Right, on paper, it's a very clear indicator. But is it really so simple? If Jama's plan was to frame Joss and get away, if that was the full extent of it, something doesn't add up. Look, this has been the third time we have postponed this trial. I don't want it to be anyone either. I am sick and tired of this killing game. But it has to be someone. This time, it's the ultimate sailor. It is Jama never planned to get out. He called Joss weak, didn't he? We all thought he was using it to his advantage. But it isn't that simple. It's never that simple when it comes to him. Jama's plan was to lose. What? JJ, have you gone crazy? JJ, this is... What makes you believe this? Everything. This entire case. It's all contradictory. On one hand, he made the second hole in Joss's floor. But on the other hand, he didn't close Joss's door after they went downstairs. Or after he went back up to put the sailor outfit on. That is... It's strange, right? Because from my room, you can also see the hole in the ceiling. The one that was in Jama's room. On one hand, he knocked out Joss and left him there, also tidying up the couch for it to seem like no one was there. But on the other hand, he didn't put back the vases he removed off of the table. What makes you think he did that? If he was planning on knocking me out, he'd risk breaking stuff Kuma didn't allow him to break. He must have removed those vases just in case. On one hand, he dressed like Joss and was planning to act as him for the entire investigation and trial. But on the other hand, he left clear differences in his attire that we would have been able to notice. And most importantly, instead of using clothes, instead of using a blanket, instead of using a bag, plastic, different wigs, he decided to use the one thing we'd all recognize. Something that no one else would be able to get their hands upon. His wig. He was planning to sacrifice himself so I could grow? But why? For what purpose? Why would he go that far for me? Because this game needs to end somehow. Justine. I see now. You betrayed Jama, didn't you? You took the opportunity to get away. What is even happening? This game needs to end somehow? What does that mean? I see. This is what it comes down to. It's you, isn't it, Justine? What? Hold on, where's this coming from? Is it me? Or are you projecting? You've been desperate to put it on me. Is someone getting impatient again? There's still more evidence pointing to you. JJ, you better agree with me. Whoa, what is... JJ, it seems we have finally figured out this case. Jama must have seen this case as a 50-50 situation. It's coming together. Right. He was trying to help Just grow through a trial that aimed solely at him, but still made the actual evidence against him concealed enough to maybe still win. It's crazy to think that wasn't his main objective. So now we know what Jama was planning, but something clearly failed, otherwise he wouldn't end up dead. So here's what I think. Jama lured down Jamillion with his Just attire, aiming to kill him. When he got downstairs, he noticed Just was already waking up and started stressing. That's when Jamillion took advantage of a distracted Jama and hit him over the head with the wooden staff he brought. Since Just cares for Jama for whatever reason, he'd obviously tried to stop it. But after the deed was already done, Jamillion used Just's weakness against him to manipulate him. He passed on his twisted mindset to Just. That certainly sounds plausible. But using his weakness? What are you referring to with that? It's coming together. He's probably referring to the personal stuff Kuma left around. If you actually think back to our conversations, you can kinda deduce what. I already revealed that I had Jama's book. Justine and Jama had a standoff about their items yesterday. Jama was talking about some Justine love letter, but Justine had a book with all her weaknesses in them. A little bit later, Just would very obviously want to talk with JayJanLee about something private. I think it's pretty fair to say he had your item, right? Yes, he did. So, JJ had Jama's item, Just has JayJanLee's item, Jama had my item. And since my item was a book with our weaknesses in them, I think it's pretty safe to say that's Jamillion's item. Then that leaves only two items still vacant. Just's item and my item. With only two more people who we still don't know which item they had. Jamillion and me. Keeping this case in mind, Jamillion was probably fooled by Jama's performance as he actually believed that was Just.
But even if it was, I doubt Jamillion would follow just if nothing else was involved. So that's why you were assuming with which item. It's a shaky assumption at best, but I did have JJ's item. That means Jamillion had Just's item in his back pocket, which whatever it was may have helped Jamillion manipulate Just.
It's coming together.
If that's true, Just cleaned up what he could and placed the staff in his own room. It may have been a fake out because it seems obvious. After that, he may have returned downstairs to feign unconsciousness, which we wouldn't have picked up on because of the scene we were forced to witness. Okay, so can I speak now? Go ahead. You've brought it up a lot, but your story contradicts with the Griscuma announcement.
It's coming together.
Ah, that's right. Now that you bring it up. If Justine's story were true, technically Just would have been the first to witness Jama's body. But when me and Justine found Jama's body, we needed JayDiego for the announcements to ring.
That should clear me of being a part of this case, right?
No, it doesn't. It clears you being a part of my story, but not of this case. You brought up the Griscuma announcement this time, but they are the most lethal pieces of proof against you. Me, JJ, and JayDiego found the two bodies. You weren't needed for the Griscuma announcement to ring.
It's coming together.
We've been trying to postpone it for research purposes, but we can't any longer. Just, how do you defend against this? Is this it then? The answer may have been right in front of us after the body was found by Justine, JJ, and JayDiego in that order. Huh? That's what both the Griscuma files stated, right? Yes, but what does that have to do with anything? The body was found. That's how it's stated in the file. The regulations specifically state that the announcement only plays when 3 or more students discover the body. Wait, are you saying that the order of who found the body and the 3 students that made the announcement ring have nothing to do with each other?
It's coming together.
I see. So that's what you mean. I see it too. Let's talk about it.
We agree with Just.
May I? Go ahead. Wait a minute. No. I let you tell your story, now let me tell mine. Fine. There's a clear difference in the way both of these are written. All the Griscuma file told us is who found the body, which made us think that was also the order for the announcement to ring. But in reality, it has nothing to do with one another. So what you're saying is, even though the regulations state that the only way for the announcements to ring is when 3 students, excluding the culprit, discover the body, that doesn't mean the culprit's name can't be placed on the list of people who found the body on the Griscuma file. That's exactly right. Okay, but that's just assuming the assuming. There's no real reason for us to question that list. No, that's not true. There's one fact in this case that's a strong reason for us to believe it.
Bullshit!
Shut it.
It's coming together.
It's the time of their deaths.
What?
Griscuma stated there would have been 3 to 5 minutes between their deaths, which means it's highly likely one of them saw the other die before they did.
Huh?
Oh? Okay, but wouldn't it still count as them finding the body? That should have been put on the Griskuma file. Well, try and think about it from Griskuma's perspective. Wait, can any of us even do that?
Of course you can't! I'm the uniqueness of all bears! Every other bear trembles before my might. Monochrome, rabbit-shaped, mafiosos, traitors, shitty little jits. No matter how the bear looks, they are fish in the small pond I'm fishing out of.
You can't find something if it was never hidden. That's probably the thought process behind it.
You're such a piece of shit, JJ.
Huh? I see. If one of them saw the other die, they wouldn't have found the body since it was never hidden to them. Since we didn't know they were downstairs, we did find them. That's some serious bullshit.
It's your fault for not reading properly.
Anyway, is there really a difference between finding something and discovering something? Well, discovering something means many things. It can mean the same thing, but it can also mean that you witnessed something that nobody has ever witnessed. Which means one of them dying, right? That would be discovering a body, since the other witnessed something nobody has ever witnessed. But the question now is, which one of them saw the other die? It can't be both of them, obviously. Well, we've pretty much established Jamillion killed Jama. If he discovered Jama's body, that would count as a student since he'd be the culprit. So it has to be Jama who discovered Jamillion's body. I guess so, huh? JJ, you understand now, right? Yes, I do. In the end. I'm glad I agree with you. It has to be you. Justine, you were the first to be accused and we cleared you. But now, that won't be possible any longer. So it has come to this. JJ, be serious. Even if Jama was the hidden pair of eyes that caused the announcement for Jamillion, that would only move you and me from 1 and 2 to 2 and 3. That means that the ones who caused Jamillion's announcement was Jama, you and me, in that order. And don't forget, I was still needed for Jama's announcement as I was the first to find his body. Or are you gonna tell me Jamillion somehow woke up after Jama saw him die to see Jama die too? That's just not realistic. Listen, on paper, you're absolutely right. And if I didn't remember how it all went, I'd probably believe you. If is the key word. What's that supposed to mean? From how the bodies were discovered, there's only one thing certain. The answer is B. The only one out of all of us who was visibly needed for the announcements to ring was JayDiego.
A body has been discovered!
What are you?
A body has been discovered!
What? Huh? JJ, is that why you haven't suspected JayDiego once this trial? I've kept this in the back of my mind since we begun. The announcements only rang the moment JayDiego found them.
Huh?
This solidified that JayDiego was innocent from the get-go. For me, this was always a battle between you and Joss. Wait, but if I'm understanding this right, then the real student order for Jamillion's announcement would be Jama, JJ, and JayDiego. Exactly. Well, hold on now. That just means this could very well be you. If the only two that were absolutely needed for Jamillion's announcement were Jama and JayDiego, the student order could very well be Jama, me, and JayDiego. I guess that's a good point. It is, on paper. What? Since Jama was the one who discovered Jamillion's body first, the student order in Jama's Griskuma file should still be the same as his announcements order. Think about it. If that running order is actually correct, and knowing that Jamillion killed Jama, who would have to be the first student to not only discover, but also find Jama's body? I see. I'm understanding it now, Just. The answer is A. It would have to be the person that was there, but hadn't killed anyone yet. The Blackened. Wait! And looking at Jama's Griskuma file, it has been written down very clearly. That's you, Justine. Knowing that, the student order of Jamillion's announcement has to be Jama, JJ, and me. So, that's it then, right? No, it's not! Huh? I cannot die here. I can't. What? Getting afraid of your upcoming death? Maybe you shouldn't have gotten your hands dirty then. Oh, shut it! If you're so confident about that, try me! So you really want to do this? Fine. If you're really saying it's me, let's look at the case. It had to be me who was lured downstairs by Jama, since Jamillion brought the As Jama pulled on the Ethernet cable while I was under the Jamillion would come in with the In that case, Jama wouldn't have been on the site where we found it. Yes, the bloodstain on the foldable table must have been Jama's blood, since he would have fallen that way if he was hit in the back of his head. Even so, you could have simply moved his body. Okay, let's say that I did. There would have been blood all over the floor. The only evidence we have found for cleaning were those little That's not enough to clean an entire bloodstream. Not to mention the entire room would have looked very different. The table would have been knocked over, the wick would have still been near my feet. There's just no way that scenario makes sense. Dissect the problems. What? You rebuted me, but you have nothing to say. I'm just a bit shocked is all. All of this indicates Jama crawled to the opposite side himself. He did what? Jama's entire back was covered in blood. It makes sense if he was positioned against that foldable table for a bit. But if he got dragged to that other side, Justine is right. There's no way blood wouldn't get on the floor. If Jama crawled there himself, all the blood on his back would be pointed up. How long was he alive for? He crawled over to the other side and even stayed alive for long enough to watch Jamillion die? It's creepy, right? I'm sure the culprit and Jamillion were creeped out by it as well. What's that supposed to mean? It means this scene was not messed with. We've been assuming for a while now that the wig, the cable, the knocked over table and even the blanket on the ground were moved by the culprit after everything happened. I guess we did, yeah. It's been a while since we last brought up the scene. Probably because we assumed it was all moved out of place. That makes sense. From what we have discovered, there's really no reason for the wig to be near the window and for the table to be knocked over. Yes, there wasn't any reason. Until now. Isn't Jama having to move places on his own proof that nothing was tampered with? Is it? Are you saying that if the scene was tampered with, they would have moved Jama back to that bloodstain? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. So you're saying all of this wasn't tampered with? Are you losing it or something? Doesn't it just prove that if this case included me in it, it wouldn't make sense? Let's see, shall we? That makes no sense.
You're dumb for this. That proves my innocence. It's absurd. This case doesn't make sense. That makes no sense. You're persistent. I'm innocent. Are you even listening to me? What's all this about? You're wasting everybody's time. That proves my innocence. If I was involved, this scene would have looked different.
It's all wrong. A solid distance and a reachable height even for me. If the wick fell from there, I think I know someone that could save the person in danger.
What are you saying?
Justine, you said that you had to be Jama's target, but that isn't true at all. In fact, it is Jamillion being the target that made you act.
Really?
You sound ridiculous right now. I don't understand what this is. The ultimate goalkeeper made a save. It's as simple as that. What kind of sound was that? So Justine literally jumped for the rock-filled wig and hid it away from Jamillion. He probably flew right over them, which would land him right next to Joss, knocking over the table in the process.
Wait, that's...
You said that being a part of this case would leave everything where it's supposed to be. But it's your inclusion in this case that's the reason why everything is so mixed up. So, Justine made a goalkeeper type of save. Really?
That's...
You may have hated your talent, but you were exceptional in it. A save like that would have been easy for you.
Hold on. Just wait. You guys are making a huge mistake. Just listen to me!
JayDiego, say the line. That's pretty decisive, isn't it? Wait, that's the thing now. Let's end this tiring case already. The blueprint has been discovered. This case may have begun yesterday, but in technicality, it started from the moment Kuma changed up our rooms. This was the second time he had changed it up, since the first time was when Jama, JayDiego, Just and Justine moved in the main building. The second shift of our rooms, Kuma left behind certain personal items of ours. Looking back on it now, this was very clearly the first push we received. That same day, Kuma revealed the motive to us, which was in their words, an opportunity, a chance to become their co-mastermind. This immediately intrigued a few people, 3 in fact, Jama, Jamillion and the culprit. From what we know, Jama may have already created this all from the moment he got his new room, just not fully breaking the last layer before the day of the murder. Since he had murder plans prepared, and he knew who the room below him belonged to, he chose to go for the drop-down knocker, gathering all the stuff he needed from around the house, plus the sailor's outfit he had created. Jama's plan was officially a go. It has been alluded to that Kuma led Jama into Just's room to work on the second hole, which will be going unbeknownst to Just. Covering the hole with a mat, Just wouldn't think twice about its placement and what was underneath it. Everything was in place, so all Jama needed to do now was move Just downstairs, and so he did. Using their fallout from earlier that day, Jama successfully led Just downstairs. After the conversation they had, Jama knocked him out and left him in the middle of where the case would be located. It was Jama's plan to not only frame Just, but also play as him during the trial. He'd lead the trial to the answer being Just and would eventually reveal himself as Jama. That's what we assumed, but Jama never closed Just's door. Not just that, but he decided on his iconic wig to hold the rocks. Jama always meant for Just to grow and adapt in a situation he'd be the clear suspect. And just maybe, the reason Jama truly dressed as him was to force Just to step out of his comfort zone and accuse someone of murder. It must have been around 6 AM by then. an hour before the morning announcement. Jama went to Jamillion's room in order to lead him downstairs. He was already wearing Joss's attire by then, which makes it impossible to tell if that was actually Joss or not. It's either because Joss is very trustable, or because of Joss's item that was left in Jamillion's new room that led Jamillion to follow Jama downstairs. But something Jama didn't know is that Jamillion was planning a murder of his own, taking a wooden staff with him. As both of them walked downstairs, they would have passed by the culprit's room, which Jamillion may have knocked on to send him a signal. Hearing that, I could only imagine the culprit got suspicious seeing both Joss and Jamillion walk downstairs, with Jamillion holding a wooden staff behind his back. And since the culprit had so proudly stated that he wanted to protect everyone, a huge alarm went off inside their head. The moment Jamillion got downstairs, he would have seen Joss laid out on the ground, which is exactly what Jama wanted. The moment Jamillion walked himself underneath the hole, Jama jumped from the backrest of the couch towards the Ethernet cable, pulling it down through the 2 holes towards Jamillion's head. It's safe to assume the end of the Ethernet cable was stuck to the ceiling with Jama beforehand, otherwise it would have been seen. All this movement caused a blanket that was neatly folded on the backrest of the couch to fall. This plan seemed foolproof, and it was, which is why Jamillion needed outside help. The culprit who had been carefully following them down noticed it all and took action. He made the save of a lifetime, headed a wig away from Jamillion towards the window. Since he needed to jump high, he crashed down near Joss, knocking the table over in the process. I can imagine how this would even catch someone like Jama off guard, momentarily forgetting about everything. So as soon as he took his eyes off the prize, Jamillion took the trophy. Jama fell down against the foldable table that was against the wall, creating that little spot of blood in the process. But he wasn't dead yet. Jama crawled towards the desk on the other side of the room and repositioned himself. Why would he do that? Well, whatever the reason was, Jamillion clearly did not like that. Maybe that's when Jamillion realized Jama's actual plan, a self-sacrifice for the growth of someone he trusted. And perhaps it was his competitive hate for Jama that led Jamillion to make a change in his plans. The Blackened, who he had been focusing on as of late, finally entered the playing field and the second part of this case began. Somehow, Jamillion manipulated the culprit to kill him, placing himself on the door to create confusion. As the culprit taped his limbs to the door, he could hit the fatal blow without Jamillion tumbling off of it. Using the curtains to keep the blood from spilling on him, he went for the strike. Now the culprit was in the midst of 2 bodies, so he started up cleaning Jamillion's side. He used napkins from the kitchen to clean off the wooden staff and placed that staff in Joss's room. Since Joss was still unconscious at the crime scene, he must have naturally thought about framing him after discovering his room was still unlocked. Anyone would probably think the same, turning Jama's intended crime flaw into a dangerous topic for Joss. However, that wasn't the only thing the culprit noticed. They, alongside Jamillion, may have figured out Jama's real plan beforehand. Seeing as that massive part of the case was all Jess orientated, and they were already planning to frame him, it's safe to assume they wouldn't have touched that crime scene at all. Even if they wanted to, the time they had left wouldn't allow them to anyway. But in his hurried pursuit, the culprit missed one fatal detail. Jama was still alive and witnessed everything. And since he witnessed Jamillion's death, he'd be the first to discover his body. It's unknown if he did it on purpose or not, but it's what got the culprit caught in the end. The culprit returned to their room and waited for the morning announcement to play, joining us as soon as we woke up. Everything was forced upon him. He didn't plan a thing beforehand, but he fell victim to temptation, so we cannot look past that. You have made your final save, Justine, the ultimate goalkeeper.
Another great story, JJ! And you got most of it completely right!
Most of?
Most of? There are only a few.
Wait!
Huh?
Everyone, hear me out. It's me, okay? I did it. Wow. Justine, what are you getting at? Just listen, okay? I need you all to vote for Joss.
Huh? Oh, a final bag? This sure is intriguing.
Why me? It's over, Justine. You know that, right? The person doesn't matter any longer. We could all vote for Diego or even JJ. I'm just saying, don't vote for me. Are you talking about the motive? Yes, I am. We can end this killing game. Right here and right now. Vote the wrong answer. That's all you guys have to do. Won't we all die if we do that? I won't let that happen. You're asking us to bet our lives on this plan?
Ho, ho, ho! What an interesting turn of events! What will our heroes do?
No. Huh? JJ, please think about it. I have, and we won't do it. We shouldn't do it.
Why not? This is our chance. Maybe even the only chance we'll get.
There is no we.
Huh?
You betrayed us, Justine. You aren't even sure if Monokuma would let you save us after we vote wrong. That is true. Didn't he say that all of this was a brand of some sort?
But this killing game is more than just a killing game. It's a brand.
If that's the case, us dying wouldn't mean a thing to him. Justine, we will not vote for a lie. As long as we keep following the truth, we'll make it out together.
Boo! It ended already? Well then, it's time to vote. I was planning to remind you guys to make double sure you don't vote for the wrong person. But it seems like you guys already got that on lock. So let's not waste any more time. Grab your handy dandy JayJanRonpa app and begin to vote. Once again correct! The culprit of this case was Justine!
Justine, did you? Why? Chris Kuma. Just do it already.
Okay, if you say so.
Don't you dare start this already!
Oh, JJ, don't be like that.
Shut up, Chris Kuma, I'm not done with him!
Okay.
You better explain yourself. Don't just try to run from this. Explain what you did.
Is that... What did you do?
Jamillion, don't! Jamillion! Why did you do that? I took out the devil. It was a long time coming, wasn't it, Justine? Not like this. Not here. I wouldn't wish death upon anyone. Oh, come on. Stop lying to yourself. I saw that look in your eye. Whenever you looked at Jama, whenever you looked at me. You wish the worst for both of us. So come on, smile. This is a day to be remembered. You won't get away with this. Oh, I won't. So you're gonna stop me? You can't scare me. I don't mind having two bodies on my name. Let me get a good look at you two. So, Jamillion, what did you think of my little trap? You totally fell for it, didn't you? Even though you knew it was me and called for help, you still almost died. You were fooled by me. And you may have won in the end. You may have won this battle. But I can promise you, the war will be won by me. As fun as games are, the most fun thing about any game is when they end. It's when the final strikes and someone comes out victorious. I know the perfect solution to ending this game, and I will yet again win against you. That will be 2 against Zilch. See you in hell, other devil. Justine, remember the motive. If you kill and get away, you may become the co-mastermind with Kuma. I said it before, but if you really want to save everyone, wouldn't that be the best possible solution? I'm sure I don't need to spell it out for you. What you can do as a co-mastermind. Even if I help you and we win, you will become the co-mastermind, not me. There's no reason for me to... You can kill me, Justine. Jama made you lose your mind. If anyone could grow past their ultimate and become something more, it would be you. The keeper that doesn't want to be a goalkeeper. This is your moment. Your moment to become someone else. Your moment to grow and save your friends. Go ahead. I'll help you. I thought that if I became a co-mastermind, then we could get out of here. I could save every single one of you. I had to. I had to fight in this trial. Because I knew that you guys wouldn't agree with me. I don't know what you guys want to accomplish here. I don't know why you guys just didn't take up on my offer. It's the best way to get out of here. Then what about Jamillion? You say all of this, but you fell for his lies. You listened to his word. You weren't planning this before. You only did it once he started speaking. I wouldn't call that doing something for us. Even though you said so proudly that you would protect all of us, then why would you go ahead and kill Jamillion? I did not! Wasn't he one of us too? That's different! How is that different? I used him. I didn't fall for any lie. I just punished him for his wrongdoings. He didn't deserve to get out with us. That's all I did. Justine, you should have trusted us more. I still have a hard time with remembering, but it's becoming clearer and clearer. Jama told me something. Just before I faded, he said something. I can't remember what it was. But he entrusted me. He entrusted something to me. That much I can remember. All you needed to do was trust us. And we could find truth. Something that you don't believe in. We could get out of here. I know there's something that Jama was trying to do. And I'm going to make a reality. I don't know what Jama saw in you. If what you're saying is true, then there might be another way for you guys to escape. My way would have been easier. It would have taken less sacrifice. You'll just have to deal with whatever follows. You'll just have to suck it up. Because whatever it is, it's gonna be painful. And my way out was the lesser. The world isn't black and white, JJ. It's high time you learn that. Oh? I cannot tell.
Okay, that's quite enough. I feel like it's finally time to enjoy what we're about to witness. So, put all hands on deck. Hold your applause, because I have something very special.
Was that truly everything that was on your mind? Looks like you have something else to say. I mean, if you want this to be your last words, then fine, but it doesn't seem like you really want that. Maybe you even want to get back at someone. Looks like that. There was something in Jamillion's book. Our weaknesses were all in it. In my new room, I found a book. A book that contained all of our weaknesses. Our personal weaknesses. But there's one thing that stood out.
It is prepared with greatness, with love, with attention.
I didn't believe it at first because it was way too weird, but things have happened that now I do. I'm gonna tell you it.
So, with all hands on deck.
I'm only gonna say it once, so listen. It was about JJ, and his weakness was Chris Kuma. Or rather,
let's get ready to start the punishment.
Wait, Chris Kuma, he was about to...
violence against the headmaster is strictly prohibited. Diego?
Diego!
It seems like you broke a rule, Diego. You stupid idiot. Oh well, that would just be another body not making it.
Oh, really now? What are you doing? Sure about that?
You tell me, Diego. Is that really a reason I wouldn't be sure about my own goddamn rules?
But I haven't attacked you, have I? I'm simply congratulating you. You won. You scored the winning goal. So here I am, jumping on your back and petting it. That's all I'm doing.
You think you're so smart? Oh, as a matter of fact, I didn't tackle you just now. Shut up!
Okay. Right, that should be okay, right, Chris Kuma? We're just congratulating you. I mean, you set all of this up. This whole stadium, this whole winning goal. So, this should be fine, shouldn't it? So, Chris Kuma, huh? In his human form. Right here. I had a question about that anyway. This time, Justine received 5 votes. It should be impossible. Did you vote on it? Hey, Diego, do you think we could see his hair from here? Maybe find out that much about him? That idea isn't half bad. That's what your hair looks like. Huh? Follow me. I want to talk to you downstairs. Okay. I'm coming. First of all, Just, I apologize. Really? Wow. I didn't expect that. Yeah. I shouldn't have yelled at you. I could have said what I thought in a calmer voice. I never meant to yell at you. But despite that, I do not apologize for the words I said. That's okay. That's okay, I understand. I still believe that it was something that you needed to hear. But I have something else I wanted to know. Chas, why me? Why did you decide to spend time with me? Have you seen scarier monsters on sea? Is that it? I don't know. I never thought about that. And you still can't put a finger on why you chose me, huh? You just don't know the potential that lies hidden inside of you. Huh? Oh. With that vase, the vase was on the table, right? Why is it removed? Any fun game needs to end eventually. If it goes on forever, it will become boring and stale. And who wants that? I enjoy a good game. Just, you have the tools to end this game. I've seen it. But you're still too cowardly. So that needs to be worked on. Tomorrow, you will evolve in a Sailor Man. The game will end. And the fun we have had will go drown in the ocean. Tomorrow you will realize I'm beyond saving. When that happens, Joss, I expect you to throw me aside. Forever. Oh, but that wasn't me! Huh? And you expect us to believe that? Voting like that is something you would do.
Oh, come on, JJ. You want to tell me that there's nothing you have encountered that could possibly be that fifth vote? Stop lying to yourself. Hey, I don't know how it happened either. So don't look at me like that. Now, Mr. Bounty over here, huh? Thinks he's so tough, so
Mr.
smart.
What?
Oh, look at that face. You didn't know it? You didn't figure that part out, did ya? You're so smart after all. It's true what I said back then. Because look at you now. I didn't even hear you sneak up. But there's a reason for that, huh? Because Johnny Ego, that's a skill that you were born with. Nobody taught you it. You didn't do any special trainings or anything. You're just the ultimate silent walker, aren't you?
What's a human moving like that?
A normal human doesn't move like that. Man, it is such a shame I had to reveal all of that just to create a little bit of space for myself.
You also don't move like a normal human.
Yeah, fine, that's true. But oh well, the 3 final survivors who will make it out, I can't wait for tomorrow, where all will be revealed on what awaits you. I guess you should have really taken Justine up on that offer. Bye-bye!
The ultimate silent walker. Alright, listen you two. Today, a lot of things have been thrown around. And even for you, Just. You are spacing out, so it feels like you have remembered something. We'll have to have an important discussion about everything. But let's do that tomorrow. This day was way too long, and we need to replenish. But I will promise to tell you everything I've learned. I think that's best. Like Justine said, whatever happens now, it's gonna be tough.
JayJanRonpa.
It's like my second room by now. You did a good job with your hole. I didn't expect that. You even thought about the possibility of it being noticed beforehand. Look at you! Just leaving a little bit of layer. You smart ass. I did it, Chris-Kuma. I told you I would. Now all that's left is to recreate my handiwork. You did tell me. I respect that. You promised me you knew a way to make this game more interesting, so I let you cook. Now that you deliver me a fine dining experience, allow me to finish it. Cover your eyes, chumma. I will finish that second hole for you. Okay. Fine by me. This is freaky, you know? Kinda interesting. I'm open for these kind of things.
Wait. Wow. What an honor. Before you leave, could I ask one more thing? I just want to hear your voice. I'm curious. Oh, come on. It's not like it will ruin anything. Not like I can perfectly mirror the voice I'm about to hear. So let me hear it. Chris Kuma, what's your real voice?
So, that sailor boy will be the end of this game, you say? I don't see it. But hey, at least you gave me an interesting case to work on. So I'll be rooting for you either way. Good luck, Jama. Don't die early.
What a voice. I felt shivers down my spine. Fine. This is so exciting.
The dawn of a big war is at hand. They escape using the rules they banned. Now we need to protect the mainlands from this technology with the power they land. Better life, but there'll be no peace. Recognize, don't even move, freeze. We can't trust any